guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is May the 4th, National Star Wars Day. Well, I don't know if it's national. I think it is. Anyway, it's Star Wars Day. But today I want to do my top 15 cards from Unbroken Bonds. The set just released yesterday on the 3rd, and these are the cards that I think everyone should own at least 2 to 4 copies of, because they can be teched. They're going to be part of the new format. They're going to be part of the new decks. They're going to be part of the top tier decks. And let's get right into it. This is the cards. We're going to start out with the Pokemon, and there are 6 of them. And starting out, we have Volcanion, and this guy right here, 120 HP, fire Pokemon, one fire energy flare starter. Search your deck for a fire energy card and attach it to this Pokemon. Attach it to one of your Pokemon. If you go second and it's your first turn, instead search for 3 and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. Fire decks, that is going to be a staple. Once Kiawe goes away, that will be the main way people get out their fire energies besides the new supporter card Welder. That's kind of the way I'm doing these. I'm going to go from least to first. So that is kind of my bottom Pokemon that I think everyone needs to get. And next up is Lucario and Metal Tag Team GX. Now I think you should have at least 1 or 2 of these. It's a 260 HP metal Pokemon, double colorless energy, steel fist, 50 damage. Search your deck for a metal energy and attach it to this Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. 2 metal energy, double colorless, heavy impact, 150 damage. Nothing too impressive there, but here's where it gets good. 1 colorless plus full metal wall GX. For the rest of the game, your metal Pokemon take 30 less damage from your opponent's attacks after applying weakness and resistance. If this Pokemon has at least 1 extra energy attached to it, in addition to this attack's cost, discard all energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. So basically, for double colorless energy, you take 30 less damage for the rest of the game with your metal Pokemon, and you get to discard all the energy off of your opponent's Pokemon. I think that is going to be the new wall Pokemon. I think with all the like metal goggles and metal frying pan and all the techs we have coming out for metal Pokemon, I believe that is going to be the new stall deck. Next up, we have Salazzle, 100 HP Pokemon. 1 fire, 1 colorless combustion, 60 damage, not that impressive. Its ability though, Roost Reveal. Once during your turn, before you attack, you may discard a fire energy card from your hand. If you do, draw 3 cards. So it's basically Heat Factory Prism Star, only on a stage 1. Next up, we have Persian GX, colorless Pokemon, 200 HP. Its ability, Catwalk. Once during your turn, before you attack, if one of your Pokemon GX or EX Pokemon was knocked out during your opponent's last turn, you may search your deck for up to 2 cards and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. You can't use more than 1 Catwalk ability each turn, and that's what this card is all about. This will be teched into a whole bunch of stuff. You just sit it on the bench and they knock out one of your tag teams, or they knock out a GX, and then you just get to search for any 2 cards you want. It's basically the new team up. Its first attack, 3 colorless energy, Vengeance, 10 plus. This attack does 20 more damage for each Pokemon in your discard pile. You can't add more than 180 damage in this way. So basically you can do a max of 190 damage for 3 colorless energy. Its GX attack, 3 colors energy, slash back GX, 150 damage. Switch this Pokemon with one of your benched Pokemon. Not a bad little attack, gets it out of the way, and does a decent amount of damage. Can knock out a Tapu Lele and some stuff like that. Next up, we do have Reshiram and Charizard GX. This is still a proxy. Unfortunately, I did not pull one of these in my booster box, but this is going to be the new deck. 270 HP, Outrage for its first attack, 1 fire, 1 colorless, does 30 damage, plus 10 more damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. The next to second attack is Flare Strike, I believe. 3 fire, 1 colorless, 230 damage, and then you can't attack using Flare Strike next turn. Its GX attack for 3 fire energy does 200 damage. If you have 3 more fire energy attached, it does 300 damage and hits through any effects on your opponent's Pokemon. So if Dawnwing's Necrozma has used its GX attack and it says prevent all effects of damage, this will hit right through that and you don't have to worry about it. And next up is my number 1 card that every person should get that's Pokemon, is Dedenne GX. This little guy right here is not really much, as is not an attacker at all. 160 HP, static charge or static shock, 1 lightning, 1 colorless, 50 damage. Tingly Return GX, 1 lightning, 1 colors, 50 damage, and then your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. Put this Pokemon and all cards attached to it into your hand. Now, where it gets interesting is this ability DD change. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may discard your hand and draw 6 cards. You can't use more than 1 DD change ability per turn. Basically, this is the new Shaman EX. But they've limited it so that you have to discard from your hand. You don't just draw until you have 6, and you can only play 1 per turn. That, guys, is my Pokemon line that I think everyone should buy. At least 2 to 4 of all of those cards is needed, in my opinion. The DD change, or the Dedenne, is going to be the biggest one. That is number 1. But let's move on to the supporter line. First up, we have Lieutenant Surge's Strategy. Everyone should own at least 2 to 4 of these. Lieutenant Surge's Strategy. You can play this card only if you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent. During this turn, you can play 3 supporter cards, including this card. So basically, I play Lieutenant Surge, and then I can play 2 Welders, or I can play a Cynthia and then a Welder, or I can play a Lily and then a Welder, or a Lily and then a Cynthia, or, you know, the combinations are just crazy. Lieutenant Surge's Strategy with a Lucamine to pick up a Stadium and another Lucamine, then play the Lucamine, and you've got all kinds of supporters in your hand for next turn. That is the lowest card, in my opinion, on the one you should buy. There should be at least 2 of those, I believe, in your binder, but you're not going to use those in every deck because they're a play from behind strategy. But it is a good, very good broken card. And next up, we have Red's Challenge. Now, this card right here is a somewhat broken card, especially if you're able to pair it with Lieutenant Surge. You can play this card only if you discard 2 other cards from your hand. Search your deck for a card and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So basically, it's an Ultra Ball for anything, but as a supporter card. They used to have an A-Spec, that Computer Search A-Spec that did the same thing, only was an item card, and it was definitely broken, but you can only have 1 of those in your deck. Playing Lieutenant Surge, you can play 2 of these, or you could play that, you know, and then a Cynthia or whatever. Next up, we have Green's Exploration. Now, this card right here is pretty broken. You can only play this card if you have no Pokemon with abilities in play. Search your deck for up to 2 trainer cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. This will be the engine to get just about everything out now. This, once rotation hits, this card right here will go through the roof. You'll be able to search out everything with that. All your trainer cards, you know, if you need choice bands, you can get choice bands. If you need stadium, you can get stadium. If you need another supporter, you can get another supporter. This card right here is going to be good even in decks that have abilities. You just play it before you lay the ability down. And then my number 1 supporter card that will be played a lot. It'll see a lot of play in the meta, and that is Welder. Now, this card right here is pretty broken. It's a new fire supporter, basically. Before we had Kiawe, and now we have this. Attach up to 2 fire energy cards from your hand to one of your Pokemon. If you do, draw 3 cards. So basically, you're able to get your fire Pokemon attacks off in 1 turn. If you're playing Flareon GX, you attach for turn, evolve into Flareon, and then use Welder. You got 2 energies on him, and you're hitting for 190 damage all in 1 turn. You could be hitting that on turn 2. Anyway, guys, that's my supporter line. And next up is the item line. And we have I would buy at least 2, probably 2 Energy Spinner. This card is just universal energy search. Search your deck for a basic energy card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. If you go second and it's your first turn, search your deck for up to 3 energy cards instead of 1, and then shuffle your deck. So if you go first, you get 3. If you go second on your first turn, you get 3. If you go first, you get 1. Really good card. It beats out Viridian Forest in certain ways because then your opponent's not able to play off of it also. But it's a really good card, good energy search. And then next up is Fire Crystal. And this says put 3 fire energy cards from your discard pile into your hand. This card right here is going to be played as a staple in every fire deck, no matter what. Of course it is. Next up, we have Pokegear 3.0. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. You may reveal a supporter card you find there and put it into your hand. Shuffle the other cards back into your deck. So basically, once Tapu Lele rotates out, this is going to replace it. You're able to search it out with Pokegear, whatever it is. If you're needing a welder, if you're needing Cynthia, Lieutenant Surge's strategy, whatever it is, that's how you're going to be able to find it. And now, kind of lumped into the item, they're not items, they're trainers, or one of them is, but we have Power Plant. And what this card does is says Pokemon EX and Pokemon GX, both yours and your opponents in play, have no abilities. And this is where you can kind of come up with some good combos with Lieutenant Surge's strategy and Green's Exploration. So you've got this in play, and you've got a Persian GX on the bench or a Zoroark GX. With this in play, you have no abilities. Your Pokemon GX and EX. That way you're able to play Green Search, and then you can just Flail Blower this away or bump it with another Stadium. And then you're back to having your abilities being able to trade or draw those 2 cards that you weren't able to get previously. And then the last card is an energy card, and it is a 4 of in every deck that plays DCE right now, and that is Triple Acceleration Energy. This card can only be attached to an evolution Pokemon. In this card, if this card is attached to one of your Pokemon, discard it at the end of the turn. This card provides 3 colorless energy only while it is attached to an evolution Pokemon. If this card is attached to any other evolution Pokemon, discard this card. So basically, if you attach this to anything besides an evolution Pokemon, then that card goes straight into the discard pile. It's a good way of getting it out of your hand, I guess, if you're needing to draw extra cards, but really you're wasting your attachment for turn, so not really. Anyway, guys, that is pretty much it for the video. This is all the cards that I think should be bought. All the cards that I am definitely going to be getting 2 to 4 of in my decks, or not in my decks, but in my binder. Some of them 2 to 4 of in my decks, obviously. But anyway, guys, I want to know what y'all think. Hit me up in the comments below. Give me a like. Be sure to subscribe, and we will see you next time.